Aussie language is a naturally smart-ass language. Like, you ask someone how they are in Australia, they don't tell you how they are. They tell you what they're not. And you got to guess the rest. Okay, mate, how you going? Oh, not bad. What have you been doing? Oh, not much. Where is this place? Oh, it's not far. When are we going? Oh, not long now. How much was that, mate? Wasn't cheap.
Aussies really like piss. Or at least they like using the word very often. Well, Nani and I are having conversations about all sorts of stuff. Piss seems to come up all the time, but for completely different reasons. I think we're gonna have to give them some examples.
We'll just give you some examples.
Pee.
Piss.
Drunk.
Pissed.
Drinking.
On the piss.
Party.
Piss up.
Easy.
Piece of piss.
Very easy.
Piss easy.
Raining heavily.
Pissing down.
Weak.
Piss weak.
Go away.
Piss off.
No way.
No, piss off.
Angry.
Pissed off.
Joking around.
Taking the piss.
That was crappy service.
That was piss poor service.
I'm so wasted.
He's pissed as a fart.
Wasting money.
Pissing money.
I dislike that person intensely.
Wouldn't even piss on him if he was on fire. Okay, welcome in everyone. I just thought I'd throw that in to start with. Yes, this is going to cause a bit of confusion to start with. It has been recommended to me that I add the vertical in as well, which I know is going to confuse people for quite some time. So if it looks vertical, then you probably are in the vertical one, and might want to jump out and jump into the regular horizontal. Welcome in, Teresa. It's good to see people coming in. Wow, for those of you who have got like heat and bushfires, that's a little bit alarming. Karen, 43 degrees, that's scary. That's really scary. As someone who's been through multiple evacuations for bushfires, I know how scary it is. So I am thinking of you. Make sure you do stay inside because that smoke from the fires is horrible. It really is. I think I've said hello to everyone. Yeah, something like that. Welcome in, Brookie. BTTV did explain it to me yesterday, and basically the short form version of it is that it is a good idea to do it. So it's just going to cause confusion for people till they get the hang of it. So I know I get frustrated when I jump into someone's live stream and I'm in the vertical and then I've got to hop out and get the other one. It would be really good if YouTube could like make a link so that when you accidentally land into vertical, you can then hit the link and jump just straight across. Welcome in, Denise. Good to see you here. Welcome in, Ernestine. I think that's probably one thing they could do to improve on it. But you know, if I'm being told that it's a good idea, then I'll do that. Just a little bit of clarification before we jump in, and this has got nothing to do with me. And thankfully, the sort of people that would buy into this sort of thing have been weeded out and left my channel anyway. But I have been made aware that claims are being made that Summer Breeze, our one and only wonderful Summer Breeze, has been accused of having multiple different accounts, including Patriot Girl. I can assure you, she has one account. She's not Patriot Girl. She's not anybody else. She's not any other accounts. She's Summer Breeze. Now, I know that no one's going to come in here and harass her in chat, but I know that there has been a bit of briganding happening on other channels where people have been essentially told to harass her. And I don't stand for that. And I know, like I said, I think all the people that are like that have left this channel anyway. They got weeded out because they do buy into the BS and gossip, and so they're not around. But I just wanted to clarify that first, because I need to make sure that everybody who comes here to my channel, whether it's on live stream, whether it's watching my videos, I need to make sure that everyone who comes to my channel is going to be safe, is going to feel safe. So the last thing I want to see is any of my subscribers being made to feel not safe on my platform, on my channel, anywhere. So I just wanted to clear that up. I know that a few content creators have been saying things like that about her. The latest one, I did email that content creator and she has put out a redaction. But I just wanted to make sure that I made that clear. I have zero tolerance of bullying here on my channel. So, not that I need to tell people this, because like I said, the people that are here are classy. I mean, everyone here supports everyone. The only time I ever see negativity here is when the trolls roll in. And, yeah, he was part of it. He was part of it, but it seems that someone either she misspoke or she was given information from someone who bought into the bullying that was started by a few other channels. But basically, a few channels started making accusations. Apparently, the accusations spread, and I was listening to a live stream. I was lying in bed this morning listening to a live stream, and heard her say that. And thankfully, she's someone who has been bullied horribly herself. So, she was quick to respond. So I'm so grateful for that. Welcome in, Sher. So yeah, just to clarify that. So, Summer Breeze is Summer Breeze. And she's only Summer Breeze. She's nobody else. And hopefully we will all continue to support her here on my channel. Anyway, where to start? I might go with... Yeah, they want to scare people from telling the truth. They want to scare people from supporting anyone that they don't like. Oh, well, I would love one, but honestly, the cost of sending one all the way to Australia would be phenomenal. So, I am more than happy. Belynda sent me some of the awareness bands, the blue and pink bracelets, and I've actually got them hanging over my microphone. So as much as I would love an awareness pen, I would like you to see the money. I would like to see the money put towards maybe buying more, or helping Chaucer with the cost of printing more stickers. Oh, I'd be happy to pay you for the postage because I would love something like that. I wish I should have saved that image. I was scrolling through Facebook last night. Chaucer, because she is a pure legend, and I will have to get some screenshots to show you. Chaucer has started putting stickers around the place wherever she goes with Lily and Jack on them, which is oh yeah, if you are in vertical chat, just be aware that you might want to come over here into horizontal if you want to be chatting with people, because I think it looks like most people here are in the horizontal chat. I know, brilliant idea. I don't know if Chaucer will come in today, but my one suggestion is first of all, next time when she runs out of stickers, I'm more than happy to pay for the next round of stickers. Oh, sure. My suggestion, as well. So you're the one printing the stickers? They're brilliant. My suggestion, I was trying to find a site where I could do it, cost free. But I was thinking it would be really good to, how you get QR codes? You could actually create a QR code that has the link directly to the RCMP's page that says Lily and Jack are missing. It's got all the details on it for contact, who to contact, where to contact, all that sort of thing. It has the details of the case. So my thoughts were that next time you do a load of printing, next time you print stickers, and I'm more than happy to, I can do it through Amazon and send them directly to Belynda. So I'm more than happy to pay for a batch of stickers. If anyone has the time to create a QR code that has the direct link to the, and I've got that web, I've got the link. If anyone wants to get it off me, you can email me. But time-wise, I've kind of been a bit stretched lately. I did go looking for free QR codes last night, but not. But if anyone does have the time to create a QR code that links directly to Jack and Lily's page on the RCMP, then, if you can do that, if you can email me, I am more than happy to, at my end, pay for another batch of stickers. And like I said, I can pay for them through Amazon and send them directly to Belynda. And then, because I just love this idea. Welcome in, Chelsea. You might not have, I'm not sure how much you caught of that, but I'm just saying how much I loved seeing that you are putting stickers around the place with Jack and Lily's faces on them. There is one. Awesome. Postcards, yes. Postcards are good as well, and there's a really good postcard site that I've used. There's actually a site that's better than Vistaprint for postcards, because it's a specific I have to check. It's there's an American couple that I follow that they travel all around the world and they have a postcard club, and I've actually got a few postcards from them. They do give postcard giveaways, and I've got a few of them in the past. And there is a particular postcard site that basically will print the postcards for you, and can mail them to people. But I would imagine that I could also do like a bulk order of them and just send them directly to Belynda. I like the idea of postcards, but I love the idea of stickers. I will, in my next live streams, give you guys some screenshots of those. Postcards with ingredients for Anzac bickies. That would be so cool. I never get any of them. How come you get them? That would be so cool. Well, we don't get cool stuff like that. We just get calendars with local politicians' faces on them. Which, kind of sucks. Welcome to other people who are coming in. I have seen lots of people coming in, but I've lost track of who I've said hello to and who I've not said hello to. So welcome in, everyone. Just talking. No, the vertical chat can't see the horizontal chat. So if you are in vertical and you can't see someone, then hop across into the horizontal. Thank you very much, Brookie. That's awesome. Very much appreciated. Now, since we're talking about things like this, those of you who've seen some of my recent videos would be aware of the 13-year-old girl. If I say just down the road, Australians will get me, but the rest of you are going to think an hour and a half isn't just down the road. But in Australia it is. About an hour and a half from here, which we would say just down the road, because it's just down the road. There was a 13-year-old girl her life was taken by a 16-year-old boy this week. And I was looking at photos yesterday. I wonder if I've got any on this computer. Let me see. Because if I can give you a visual at the same time. No, I don't. Damn. Bummer. They've started putting... There's like a viewing platform that looks out across the river in the area where they found her. And the locals have started putting flowers and stuff there, the usual memorial. So I've actually contacted a company here in Victoria that make benches from recycled plastic. And I'm hoping that it's not going to be too expensive. But I'm hoping to hopefully get a bench made for Layla and have it put in like at the viewing platform. I'll keep people updated on that as I get information. Yeah, it is. Everything's just down the road. Especially, I mean, heck, only an hour and a half away. That's definitely only just down the road. Oh, thank you, Ernestine. Very much appreciated. Well, let's definitely get some more stickers happening with some QR codes on them. And I'll also see what I could do about some postcards, because if there are people that are willing to do a bit of letterboxing, dropping postcards in letterboxes, or even just sending them to people. I don't know if libraries, I know here in Australia, there are places like libraries where you can actually take a bunch of postcards and just leave them there for people to collect. And I haven't seen it so much lately, but it is a kind of a thing where people love grabbing different postcards. So definitely something to consider. The more awareness we can create, the better, in my opinion. Now, a few things that the gonna do's. So first of all, I've got giving the pens to businesses in the area. That's brilliant. Such a good idea. Such a great idea. It's what we need to be doing now, just getting the awareness out there. That's for sure. You can put stuff up on local supermarkets. All our local supermarkets you can, that's for sure. So definitely we need to start getting more of this stuff out there. I'm so glad that you started doing the sticker thing, because I've been watching, and you guys will know probably because you probably follow similar pages to me. There's someone, a missing person, and they keep leaving printed, like 3D printed dinosaurs in random places all over the place, with a QR code around its neck for people to scan, which then gives the whole missing person's information, which I think is great. Absolutely great. Oh, wow. Is that like you've got to go into Beyond Blue and like sign up for it first or something, or because that's awesome. I would certainly be into that. Cool. Oh, that's great. So community-made library boxes and trading cupboards. We have a few of them around here. It was in the letterbox sponsor. Oh, cool. But that's another great idea, because any of those little community libraries and things, brilliant idea. Welcome in, Angelina. This is good. I love the positive side of things. You know, yesterday I was saying how exhausted I was feeling because of just the case just seems to be not doing anything right now. But I love this all this positivity. I think it's great. Okay, so just a few things. I've got a little bit of the audio left of Belynda's discussion with Susan, but I've also got a lot of things. I've got some things I want to go through before that, and then some things to go through after that. First of all, how much does that suck? Can't put posters up in grocery stores or shopping centres anymore. That sucks. We have, I think every supermarket that you go into here has a board as you come out through the checkouts. That's like a community board where you can post things. And all the shopping centres have community boards somewhere within the shopping centre, usually when you're headed towards the public toilet. And people are always putting things. A lot a lot of things also that you see here is like people posting things on telegraph poles, but I don't know if that's actually legal. You don't know how to go to horizontal. If you click on my channel logo, it'll take you straight to my channel. And then you have a look. It should show you like the picture of like the horizontal picture next to the horizontal one. But if it doesn't, when I'm looking for the right chat, I usually look for the one that's got the most people in it, because that's usually going to be the horizontal. So essentially just click on my channel logo, follow it to my channel, and then click on the live stream that's got the most people in it. What? They still have them at the grocery stores, just not allowed to put missing people on them. That's wrong. That is so, so wrong. Oh my gosh. Wow. That is such a good idea. Wow, that is a brilliant idea. It wouldn't be hard to get hold of one or two people who are part of the kind of the geocache scene in Nova Scotia and send them a bunch of bracelets and start getting the bracelets put into geocache all around Nova Scotia. I mean, heck, if anyone had the time, they could put their own geocache. They could join up and do their own geocache with Lily and Jack's bracelets. But if there was someone who's like a serious geocache enthusiast, imagine being able to send them a bunch of bracelets to put in geocaches. That's a brilliant idea. Oh, I can imagine. Retired librarian people flooded the bulletin boards with leaflets and private yard sale stuff. Yeah, I can imagine how much time would be spent just trying to clean it up. That's for sure. Oh, it's a shame that the signs have been knocked down. Yeah, that's the problem with the lighter signs. They do they don't last. Which is a shame. You put posters on all the train stations on the Northwest Line in Calgary, and they all got taken down the next day. Unreal. Why is it such a bad thing to have posters up for missing children? That's so sad. See, this is such a huge problem with cases. You get so much awareness at first from the media. And I've seen cases where, like, I've had times where I've mentioned a case on a video or on a live stream, And someone has said, oh, I thought they were found. Because people get this idea in their head that because they're not hearing any more about a case, that it must be solved, that it must be resolved, that the person's been found. So it really is. Yeah. Now I've got dispatch audio from May the 2nd, and I've also got some stuff from the documents to help us in terms of the timeline with dogs, helicopters, and drones. Oh, you found your way into the horizontal. Good to know, Karen. So first of all, I'll play the dispatch audio. Now, this is all from my different dispatch audios. In terms of the times, because what I did when I got all the dispatch audio, I was downloading it. You download it in half an hour blocks. And I was doing that and basically running it through my audio thing to get rid of all the silence. So it doesn't give exact time. It gives a half-hour time period. So interestingly enough, every single one of these bits of dispatch audio are from 10:51 to 11:22 or something. Yes, really good point, Grover. Maddie Soto. She was found because of media coverage. Because they did a press conference, they came out and they said, we've arrested Stephen Stearns because of things he has on his phone. We believe that he is responsible for Maddie's death. We believe that he was in the area of St. Cloud. And we know that he got a flat tyre. And if anyone saw this vehicle and they put a picture of the vehicle up, showing the side with the tyre on it, and they're basically saying, well, if anyone has seen this vehicle, please contact law enforcement. Well, was his name Walter? I get the names confused. He happened to drive past when Stearns was changing the tyre on his car. Sorry, that was a really loud truck. So he was able to pinpoint the exact location. And that was because he saw it on the news. Thomas Karras, thank you. I don't know why I get Walter in my head. That's someone else connected to the case, I know. But, yeah, Thomas Karras. Absolute saint. He was Maddie's hero. Because not only did he drive past, see Stearns changing the tyre, and then make contact, but he rang dispatch. He rang, like 911 or dispatch, somewhere like that. Oh, the tip line. And I can't remember, but it was either dispatch or the tip line. He rang them. And he said, I saw this dude. I saw him changing his tyre. And I saw it was on Old Hickory Tree Road. And the person that he spoke to said, can you give me an address for that? And he said, no, there's no address, but I can describe the location to you. And they hung up on him. because he couldn't give an address. And I know you guys have heard me say this before, but this is a story that is just so worth telling. So he got in his car and he drove to the location where he saw Stefan changing his tyre. And he took photos of the location. And I think he also got GPS coordinates. I can't remember. I really need to go back through that. And he went to the base that they were at, where they were basing their search from, down the road. And he went up to one of the police officers there and said, I saw him changing his tyre. Here's the photo. I can take you to the location. They went there and they found Maddie. So, you know, awareness is so important. Yeah, we've got that in Australia too. A lot of people with the no soliciting signs. Although you get people who just ignore that, which is so annoying. Yes. He went out of his way. And had it not been for him, Maddie might never have been found. So he really was Maddie's guardian angel. So it just goes to show you the importance of public awareness. I mean, even going further back, look at the Gabby Petito case. Jen and Kyle, the Bethunes, they hadn't even heard of Gabby's case. But they travel America with their children. And other people who travel were basically, welcome in, Summer Breeze. I actually can't see Summer Breeze, but welcome in. Other people were basically sharing on the radio, look, we've got this missing lady, Gabby, and can people check their dash cam footage and everything and keep an eye out? And Jen was editing videos for their YouTube channel. There she is. Welcome in, Summer Breeze. Jen was editing YouTubes for their YouTube channel, and she came across the footage of Gabby's vehicle parked on the side of the road, and it was parked on the side of the road in the location where they found Gabby's body. So thanks to Jen and Kyle, it was thanks to them that they found Gabby Petito. So, yeah, awareness is so, so important. Yeah. Yeah, I think because I was so immersed in Maddie's case for, 18 months, that I'd kind of put that to the back of my mind. But, yeah, it was the same situation. Just, you know, that's why we have to keep talking. That's why we have to keep getting their faces out there, getting their case known. Okay, so dispatch footage. So this helps us to narrow down the first dog, helicopter footage, and sort of drone footage, but I've got more in the documents.
9, second dog, leaving HRM now, also 16. What? I can hear you. Maybe they're on portable and they can't hear you. But I'll be there in a minute. I'm not far, and I'll relay that. Perfect, thank you. I know, like, Fraser's probably out with his dog. If his wagon's open and the truck's on, you can switch his base station to the DVR channel for Northeast Nova, and that should jumped everyone's portable up.
Break helicopter patrol 4, mutual aid 6. We're showing 2 minutes back from Sherlock address.
Patrol 4, Kilo 9, I heard a few minutes ago there was an R pass up. I'm just making sure that you guys have deconflicted.
As Patrol 4, yeah, copy that. We're 1,400 feet per hour. We're just going to stay high until we confirm there's no oil prices in the airspace.
4 from Bravo 3. I'm in the F-250. So if you see me down here, you're going to be looking for a place to land, I assume?
Negative. I've got 2 Casera spotters on board, so we're just going to stay in the air and just start a search pattern here immediately.
Okay, so just translating what's going on there. So you have early on in this half-hour block, so probably maybe around 11 o'clock, you have them discussing the second dog is on its way, presumably from Halifax. But they're also talking about the other dog handler who's already out somewhere around the area with his dog. So the first dog was there, I believe, before 11, based on where it comes into the audio. In terms of the helicopter, that was, I distinctly remember that was kind of closer towards the 11:20 time. So the first helicopter was arriving between 11 and 11:20, probably around 11:10, 11:15. So that's really quick. And you can hear when that first helicopter was arriving, there was a drone that was up. And the drone was actually, because he's talking about he, didn't want the helicopter wanted to just make sure that he wasn't going to run into any drones flying into the area. There's more discussion on that I haven't played, but essentially the discussion between them around that time was that the guy was just about to ground for batteries anyway. So by 11:23, we had one dog, we had one helicopter, we had one drone. In May, still quite effective because it wouldn't get too hot. The main thing with the drones would be the FLIR technology, which is the infrared. So they can detect animals, humans, heat under the foliage of the trees. It's only in the warmer part of the day when the trees start to warm up and the foliage starts to end up getting the same sort of colour or close in colour to what you would expect if you saw body heat, that's when it becomes difficult. And that's why you get them out searching at night time with drones and helicopters when you have children and people missing, because at night time the FLIR technology works so much better because you don't have the sunlight basically polluting your search. But Nova Scotia in May would have still been enough differentiation that were they in the trees, the FLIR technology would have picked it up. So the foliage can be an issue if it's warm. But if it's, nighttime or if it's on a cooler day, Brian was never charged because after he took Gabby's life, after he cowardly strangled her, he took the van that belonged to Gabby, that she'd worked her ass off to buy so that they could do their cross-country trip. He took that van and he drove all the way back across the country, back to his parents' house, and left Gabby just lying on the ground in Moab. He got back to his parents' house and they put that van in their garage and they lawyered up. And when Gabby's parents started contacting Brian's parents to say, we haven't heard from Gabby, have you heard from Gabby and Brian? They didn't tell them that Brian had come back. They didn't tell them that Gabby's car was in their garage. They just kept silent about it. And it was actually, I think it was the police that told Gabby's family actually her vehicle is in the Laundry family's garage. Anyway, they refused to tell Gabby's family anything. The lawyer came out and said something along the lines of, we really feel for Gabby's family and we hope that they find her. And Northport Police, because they're absolute fucking geniuses, because they'd lawyered up, Brian wouldn't talk, and they were all holed up in that house. Northport Police were, I mean, it's comical, but it's not. They were surveilling the house. Brian Laundrie came out and got in his mother's car and drove to a local reserve. But Northport Police didn't do anything about it because they thought it was his mother. They thought it was Roberta Laundrie getting in the car and heading off. And he basically went into that reserve and allegedly ended himself. So he never paid the consequences. So there was never justice for Gabby. And his parents, Brian's parents, never got charged, even though they covered up for him. It's such a horrible, tragic case. It really is. Now, as well as looking at the dispatch, I went into the documents. So I need to pause and run back for a second. I need to pull that off. Okay, I'll run back a bit. Okay, so this is from Amy Hanson's account, first of all. So she says, when we go down to 43B, she said the first day of the search focused on what GSR calls hasty searches, meaning they search linear features like streams, trails, train tracks, and roadsides. They also did some grid searching around the residence where Jack and Lily were last seen. All right, that night, mountain bike teams came in to do searches on trail areas, which is something that seems to have not been mentioned much. I don't want to go on too far. Okay, so with regards to the boot prints, what they've said here, I'm just going through. Okay, must be in a different bit where it says about searching the area where the boot prints are. But they've got down the bottom, it says they brought in heavy urban dogs who use air scenting to find people that are alive. Which is a bit of a contradiction, because my thought was that they were the ones that, scent along the ground. But if she's saying air scenting, then again, that's the ones that just track the smell in the air. So this is the report from Amy Hansen, that they brought in heavy urban dogs, air scent dogs. Okay, what have we got here? Okay, and then summary again from the search. They've got, we're talking about May 17th. They're saying there that they had previously, so when the children went missing, had searched the area with hasty searches and a dog, which we know. Still no time frame on that. But there is more details coming up. Okay, I wanted to clarify this anyway. This wasn't connected with what we've been talking about recently, but it does. This is the mention of the bone, because I know people were getting confused about that. I haven't looked in the dispatch to see if there's any mention, but I did want to bring this up. So May 31st, a bone was located by GSR during the search, and it was seized and photographed by Constable Donaldson. It was provided to the medical examiner's office, and they determined it was not human. So this, I believe, is the origins of the story, where people are claiming that dog remains were found in the woods. Because I do not recall ever coming across that anywhere. So just clarifying that, which, like I said, is not relevant to timeline, but I did want to bring that up because I know it was a topic of discussion. I do have timeline stuff here. Okay, here we go. First drone went up at 10:38. So just trying to think time-wise. What time did RCMP arrive? I think it was 10:27. Am I correct? 26 minutes? Or was it 10:34? I don't know why I'm getting it confused. But we had Lily and Jack reported missing at 10:01. 37 minutes later, we had the first drone up. So 10:38, Constable Mugford launched RPAS from 1407 Gairloch Road. Yeah, so it was bones that were found, not an unalive dog. And the story's just been, thanks, Karen, it was 10:27. It was 26 minutes after they were called. So 11 minutes after RCMP arrived, they had a drone up. And yeah, it was only bones that were found. It was not an unalive dog. So the story's just kind of grown legs over the last year. And just kind of, as it does, frequently does. It could well have been one of those, if you remember, probably about the first 6 months, there were almost daily AI videos being put out. Like nearly every day there was a new AI video being put out with misinformation. Personally, I wonder if a particular content creator who, I don't think he still covers it, but who was problematic with Gabby Petito, with Kylie Rodney, with Summer Wells, with the Idaho 4, I can't help wondering if maybe he now does more of that kind of AI stuff on a separate channel to keep his channel clean. Just hypothesizing, but So yeah, first drone went up 10:38. That's still early enough in the day for FLIR technology to be quite effective, because it's like Justin and his dog with the 3 lives. Yeah, well, I think that's where the story probably originates from. Anyway, so I just wanted to clear that up. And like I said, it would still be cool enough at 10:38 in the morning for a drone to be super effective, even with tree cover, because they would have been using the FLIR technology. And then you had the helicopter arriving probably around 11. This guy then downed his drone, but it's my understanding that by later that day, there were 4 drones and 2 helicopters. And we know that there were at least 2 dogs there on the first day, just based on the dispatch. Okay, what? I think there might have been. Okay, and then we've just got discussion of the piece of blanket and Corporal Martin. So I think that's that must have been the second dog that arrived. So we had a dog basically covering the area. Yeah, you're probably right, Deborah. You had a dog covering the area where the piece of blanket was found, and it did not pick up a scent to complete a track. So they did have a dog there. They don't say what sort of dog it was. We just know that it was Corporal Martin. Yeah, the bone probably could have been from a coyote or a wolf or anything. I guess it comes down to funding, and possibly also because it's a new program. They have only, and this blows my mind, they've only had human remains detection dogs in the RCMP since it was either 2016 or 2018. So less than 10 years. So it's actually a new thing in the RCMP. I'm guessing that down the track, the current trainers will train new trainers, possibly. But it's certainly something that is in its infancy for Canada. Like, but Australia's the same. We don't have enough either. I think it's certainly America does it better when it seems to come down to the number of trained dogs they have. Oh yeah, the stuff that was being put out, the AI stuff, was no wolverines in Nova Scotia. Cool. It could have been any sort of animal bones though, really. So yeah, there's that. Now I think, just hide that. I think that's it. Yep. Okay, so you have the geocache, that's how little it meant. Yeah, the geocache is insignificant completely. It's just an old geocache. When they went through, there'd been lots of heavy rain. It was probably washed out of the area where it had been. to me, it certainly looked like it was different writing from different people. I don't think it's significant at all. Now the other stuff I will come back to. Okay, let me see if I can find crapola. Sorry, and I apologise for the swearing as well. Okay, I'll bring this back up on stage for starters. I will try and bring this back up on stage for starters, and now the whole thing's just right.
Have you ever?
I hate the sight of myself. And I'm not wearing makeup. If I was wearing makeup, it wouldn't be so bad. But I basically crawled out of bed. I'm sitting here with the blanket wrapped around me. Thankfully, I brushed my hair at least. Because I have barely slept in the last 6 weeks, my skin is disgusting. So I'm a little bit self-conscious. And I also hate seeing myself on the screen. So, yeah, anyway. A bit of a jump scare for people, but let's move on. So there's a little bit more of this audio from Belynda that I wanted to go through. Yeah, I think it's a Virgo thing, Chelsea. But it's my ADHD as well. Oh yeah, look, who could not love watching Michelle's dogs just ranging around the place? She's just, yeah, her dogs are so beautiful. They're so well trained. And yeah, she knows dogs so well. Oh, go get a bit of sunshine for me too. Summer breeze or a bit of warmth. Thanks for coming in, Summer breeze. Yeah, I hate being on camera. It's just, not a good thing for me. Way too self-conscious. Anyway, at least I brushed my hair, thank heavens. So, a little bit of the audio from Belynda, and then I've got a bit of, actually, 96. Oh, that'd be so nice. I still haven't. I know it's an ADHD thing too, and I like having my blanket wrapped around me. But I still haven't removed my blanket this morning. Okay, so a little bit of Belynda's audio, and then I've got a little bit of I Spy that we may not get to in this live stream. But if not, I'll cover it in the next one. Yeah, well, I have to confess, had I not bothered to straighten my hair last time I washed it, then it probably wouldn't be brushed, which would have been even worse. So, well, thankfully, I already straightened my hair, so it's quick to brush. Because otherwise, when it's like full-on curls, it involves like, spray bottles, mousse, a lot of work, which when I crawl out of bed is just too much work. Hence the reason why I'm lazy and I straighten it instead. So, there's that. Okay, anyway, let's listen to this.
Have you ever gone back to search at all? No. Well, not around Daniel's area. I've gone to other areas,
Right.
Lyric Road and those areas, but not around Daniel's property at all, no.
Right. So you noticed where Malaya went to search with Please Bring Me Home.
Mm-hmm.
So whereabouts was that roughly, would you say? Or do you know?
From my understanding, there's about 4 different locations that were searched. The pipeline was one of them.
Yeah.
One's down further. You see, I'm not familiar with the names of the areas
Mm-hmm.
because it changes from about 50 feet and all of a sudden you're in a different community. So I'm not familiar
wow.
with the names. But they were quite spread out with their searching from what I know of.
Right. I'm just curious if it would have been in that area where they're logging, where they're clear cutting.
I don't believe so because, like I said, that's right up Handy Daniel's property.
I think this bit is a replay. So I'm not really commenting on it because what I'm wanting to get to is the private property signs that they're talking about.
Right.
And there are quite a few private property signs now.
Mm-hmm. Sorry, there are private property signs where?
Just about everywhere down around there now. It's amazing how many properties have become private.
It's weird, right?
Yeah.
It's really weird. So these private property signs, are they all like from, let's say, Lansdowne Road all the way as far as you can go to, let's say, New Glasgow? Or are they just literally in the Lansdowne area of, let's say, Daniel's property area?
I would say the Lansdowne area.
There you have it, folks. It's only the properties around Gerlock Road that have suddenly put, well, not suddenly, it was just before the first Please Bring Me Home search. But it's not like it's a regular thing around there for people to have private property signs up all over the place. That only happened just before the first Please Bring Me Home search. And that is mostly on Mackenzie and Martell properties. You could pretty much map it. You could basically go on Google Earth, go on Street View, and you could map it. Welcome in, Fred. Good to see you here. So to me, that is so incriminating. Also, you know, it does, again, make me question if the children are on a private property somewhere locally. Oh, how horrible. 20 big pigs burned in a barn near you. Oh, those poor things. That's so sad.
The Lansdowne area. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So theoretically, could all of these private property signs be on property owned by the Mackenzies?
A good portion of them are.
Okay. Okay. And it may be that.
You heard it directly from Belynda, who's been in the area. Who knows what property's what there? The majority of the private property signs are on Mackenzie and Martell properties. To me, that says a lot.
They don't want people wandering on. I mean, one would say, well, if there's no buildings on them, if nobody's living on them, and it's bare land, who cares who's on there searching? I mean, if but there could be insurance issues there, right?
Now, you know what? I've heard that being spoke of. I could see somebody's private property where their home is being a little concerned. And to me, that's even a light. I'd like to know how many cases has anybody that's gone hiking or fishing and crossed somebody's property, how many homeowners have been sued that this is all of a sudden an issue now of worrying about somebody's safety?
True enough. True enough. And again, I mean, I have been on searches as well for people here in British Columbia, and I've never known homeowners ever to put private property signs up.
Right.
I'm not aware of any cases. Yeah, I think I'm not going to try and look because I'll probably dump myself out of studio again and go through all the same crap that just happened before. But I think it's still only about 10 degrees or something here. Now, I've not heard any situation where searchers have injured themselves on someone's property and sued someone. Not here in Australia, not in Canada, not anywhere else. But I also want to point out that when you have organised searches, when you have, the proper search teams, like the ones all around Nova Scotia, when you have places like Texas EcoSearch and presumably Please Bring Me Home, they have to have insurance. So now I realise that this insurance comment could well have unintentionally come from me. Because, yeah, exactly. Workers' compensation. If you're working a case looking for missing children and you injure yourself, you have workers' compensation. Now, I realise that way back when, I think Janie might have been saying in Facebook chats about that they were putting up private property signs to keep people off their properties ahead of this search or something. I can't remember where it was mentioned, but I know it definitely came from either Janie or Daniel. And I do recall saying, well, I guess there's always an insurance issue if someone comes on your property and injures themselves. But you know what? The signs mean nothing anyway. Yeah. If you are negligent in any way and someone's on your property and they injure themselves because of some sort of negligence on your part, well and good. But, yeah, see, Australia's the same, and that's where I was headed with that. You'd be highly unlikely to win a case in Canada. You'd be highly unlikely to win a case in Australia. We don't do things that way. It's just an excuse. Welcome in, Rita. I probably should mention you're in vertical. I added in vertical. I've been told it is a worthwhile thing to do, a good thing to do, but it's caused confusion for people because I've not used vertical before, so a lot of people ended up in vertical and weren't able to see people in chat. I think everyone at the moment is in horizontal chat. So just thought I'd give you a heads up on that. Let's face it, The signs are only put up there because it's Martell's and Mackenzie's. Sorry, my brain is a bit foggy. Yeah, when you look at it that way, so true. Yeah, I am just, like I said, my sleep deprivation has sleep deprivation right now. I thought I had Taka settled kind of early last night, but then we had the 3 o'clock need to go out. And the last 2 mornings in a row, my neighbour has been going out at 5 o'clock in the morning and starting their car or their work ute, and running it for half an hour before they finally leave for work. And that work ute, which, being a bigger vehicle, is not a quiet vehicle for starters, but it is just the other side of my driveway, right next to my bedroom window. So it wakes me up, and being ADHD, I can't go back to sleep until after they finally leave. So I might have had 2 hours sleep last night, possibly. I'm not sure. I don't know, but yes, I'm a little bit impaired in terms of sleep deprivation right now. Anyway, we'll keep pushing on with this because I want to try and finish with this audio.
Right.
Never. And one of them was actually within a city limits and, city property and, gravel pits and all kinds of things, right? I'm just trying to think of where we all searched. But certainly it was on private lands that we had, but there was no private property signs ever put up, even after we had searched and had permission to search those areas. There was never, I can drive by them today and I will tell you that there's no private property signs put up. There's something really off about all of this whole case. There's something very off. There's two.
Yeah, I think so. Little black bears jumping around. Oh, thank you for doing that. I like that. I must admit that the times when I end up in like a vertical chat and then I jump across into a horizontal, I always hit the like in the vertical and then hit the like again in the horizontal. Yeah, I don't know what I'm saying. Quite often if I go into one of Justin's lives, if I end up in the vertical first, I'll do that. So thank you for doing that. And anyone who hasn't hit the like yet, please do so. It does help. Yeah, I need to start getting back into audiobooks and stuff. I have found that if the neighbour starts the vehicle and I'm awake enough to think about it, if I can put on an audiobook or some music, it does kind of drown out the sound of the vehicle and I fall asleep again. But, at 5 o'clock in the morning when you've only gotten to sleep sometime after 3 a.m., you kind of don't think of things like that until afterwards. But yeah, I do like the audiobooks. I do like listening. Plato's Republic will put you to sleep fast. It will, that's for sure. I also like listening to podcasts because, quite often they'll put you to sleep pretty quickly. I love listening to How Rude Tanneritos, which is Jodie Sweetin and Andrea Barber. They were in Full House, but they're great. They their podcast is just a bit of banter, going back over old episodes, and I basically just listen to it for the amusement value. So that's one of my sleep podcasts. But I believe Shannon's around. I haven't seen her in a while. I love the Odyssey. I did for, I think, my first 2 years at uni. In my first degree, with my undergraduate degree, it was just a bachelor degree, and I studied classics, and Odyssey was one of them, and I loved it. Anyway, back on track.
Too much. People are too defensive. They're acting defensive.
I totally agree. Everything about everything is just totally off. I go to the basics of, we have the worst drought that we've had in
Yeah.
a long time, and they shut the woods down.
Yeah.
And it's like you got two missing children, and you're shutting the woods down, and we're not allowed into search.
Wow. Yeah. I remember that. Yeah.
And then when they lift the ban, Lansdowne is the last area to open up. And I know a good portion of the properties that we did search and go through the woods. I know a good portion of those now have private property signs up on them. That
I'm sorry, I shouldn't laugh at that, but seriously, you would think Janie, with her huge maternal instinct, would feel more protective of Malaya and at least stay and keep her calm until her real mum turned up, considering that Dan was off being the hero and running around. That's the best comment I've seen all day. That's so good.
to me, there's nothing of this. None of this makes sense.
So I hear it's really hot there, Belynda.
Yeah, we're having a heat wave, I guess. Yes, on that note, I gotta bid you good night. I've got an early morning, and it's heading on for 3:00, so.
Wow. Belynda, thank you again. I really, really appreciate you taking the time. I can't imagine how many times you've talked about this, and you never seem to grow impatient about doing so. And I really, really, really thank you for that.
Oh no, thank you for listening. That, like I said, I know a lot of things get forgotten and bypassed, and it's good to re-talk and remind of this took place, that took place.
Definitely, absolutely. And thank you again, and have a wonderful day tomorrow.
Thank you. You have a good...
Okay.
I wanted to put that last bit in because Belynda does make a really good point about things being forgotten, but it's not just things being forgotten, it's things being distorted. She's so right about that. And I know there are other channels saying, oh, well, we're not covering Lily and Jack because there's nothing to talk about. And I sit there and I think, are you kidding me? Because my notebook, where I jot down my notes when I'm like listening to, if I'm on a live stream, or if I'm listening to content, or if I'm working on content, I have a back section and front section, and the back section has multiple pages of videos that I want to do for Lily and Jack's case, things that I want to talk about for Lily and Jack's case. So it blows my mind when I hear content creators saying, well, we're not talking about Lily and Jack because there's not really anything to talk about anymore. No way. There is a YouTube reading of it. Please tell me it's ad-free, because I love that series. I really, really love that series. I didn't know. I kind of did a bit of clearing out of books in recent years, because the number of books that I own and the number of books that I did own was just phenomenal. Like, I just didn't have enough room in my house for all the bookshelves. So I got brutal, and I actually donated a lot of the books that I won't read again to charity. But I will never ever part with my Clan of the Cave Bear books, because I read them when she first released the series. And I remember, I think maybe the last one hadn't been released, and just waiting for it to come out. Absolutely, absolutely brilliant series. And yeah, I've still got the series, the original covers. I will never ever part with that. It's definitely one of my favourite series. Also, probably my ultimate favourite from sort of that, back when those books were out. I love Barbara Erskine, and my ultimate favourite book is Miss of Avalon. I've actually read that multiple times. And it's definitely one of my ultimate favourites, and I should actually look and see if there's like a version of that I can listen to. Yeah, Mike MX, he does have a calming voice. I love listening to his content. And yeah, I agree, Belynda could do audiobooks and stuff, and she has the voice for it, that's for sure. Now, I'm going to try and bring up the... Yeah, Miss of Avalon, absolutely brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. I don't know how I'd go... Yeah, Narnia, haven't read them in years, but I love them. I don't know how I'd go trying to actually read Miss of Avalon now, because the writing is so, so tiny, so I'd have to probably have it on my iPad or as an audiobook. I have enough trouble now when I'm lying in bed and I'm trying to answer messages and trying to see the screen on my phone. So I would probably struggle to read it from the book. But then these days, I prefer reading off my iPad anyway, because like I said, you get the bigger writing. Okay, I'm going to try and... Yes, the Debris series. Oh my gosh, yes. There's another one, The Sun... Oh, I can't think of the other series, but similar to those. But yeah, I read all the Debris series as well. Looks like we kind of read the same books. Yeah, Catherine Kerr. You're basically talking about my favourite authors. Several of my favourite authors. If you like them, there's a more recent author, and I can't think of his last name. Patrick... Oh crap, I'll have to find out and let you know, because it took him forever to write his first book. But utterly phenomenal author. Very similar style to those books. Okay, let me see what I have that I was going to bring up. Okay, property boundaries. Let's look at that first. Yep. Okay, So I need to run back a bit. I was, and I'll make that big. I was slightly incorrect when I was talking about Janie's property boundary. I thought that it did go right across to the road. But that's kind of, I don't know if that section between Janie's property and where the cabin and that are, I don't know if that is like Crown land or if it's owned by forestry. But you can see the boundary there for Janie's property. Oh, we had that is a massive municipal setback. Is that normal? Because that's got to be at least double anything that I would expect to see here in Australia. I mean, that goes a long way up that driveway of theirs. Which is interesting because I'm guessing that they still have to maintain that driveway themselves. But that now helps me understand why the trailer is set so far back. But yeah, it's interesting to see the boundaries there. I kind of forgot what I was saying. School libraries and stuff. I was lucky that my primary school and high school had massive libraries. And I always presumed that schools had massive libraries. But also, we lived in the inner suburbs. So every Saturday morning, Dad would take us to the state library in town, which was like a 10-minute bus ride. And we'd go and we'd swap our books out, get new books. He'd leave us there just to, read for a while because his work office was kind of, at that point in time, out the back of the library somewhere. So he'd go do a bit of extra work, let us, hang out in the library and read for a while. And, one of my favourite memories of childhood is just going through all the books in the state library on a Saturday morning. So, and we had every golden book that was published, I think, in our bedroom. And we had like Enid Blyton, all the classic books. Like, our grandfather was a carpenter, so he actually built bookshelves in our room. So, we grew up just surrounded by books, which I think is something that a lot of children miss out on, which is kind of sad. Anyway, so back to this. I'm so getting distracted today. Yeah, I love books. I have read so many books I couldn't even tell you. My whole family, book lovers. I don't know how many bookshelves I've got in the house, but like I said, I did a major cull in the end because I had books that I hadn't even taken out of boxes because I had so many. And even with a major cull, I've still got bookshelves everywhere. So, okay, what am I looking for? Just running this on a bit. I'm sure there's more. Bear with me. Okay, this surprised me. This is the boundary for the cabin and the schoolhouse. So it's actually quite a large portion of land. Oh my gosh, you are so like me. My favourite part of the day in primary school was after lunch when we had quiet reading time. And I would get so engrossed in my books that there were times when the teacher would have to actually, like, say my name specifically. But I laugh at you talking about reading The Hobbit in grade 4 because I read The Lord of the Rings in grade 5. And people were like, but isn't that too much? That's too big a book for you. And it never occurred to me that it was too big a book for me. But that's because my sister is 3 years older, and it never occurred to me as a kid that developmentally I shouldn't be reading the same level books as her. So I just expected that, well, she'd just finished reading it, so I'm going to read it next. Oh, Fire on the Mountain. Oh my gosh. Yes. Great books. Anyway, huge boundary for the area of the schoolhouse and the cabin. And I hadn't realised because I thought it was just that little area. Don't know what it is around it though. And I think I've got some more LiDAR stuff, possibly. No. Zoomed out just to show you more of the property boundaries. So you can see the little square in the middle, that's Janie. And then you've got quite a lot of large areas, which are those kind of logging areas. Now, I don't know what's owned by who where, but I did want to bring those up. Trying not to run on. I know there's another one here. I thought there was another one. No, there's not. Okay, that's just going to keep running on now. I'll just let that run through for a minute. Yeah. We were always read to when we were really little. But every night we'd read. I think one of the most exciting things for me when I was in kinder was that whole, end of year Santa visit. Because, in Australia, end of year is Christmas time. And I got a book from Santa and I was so excited. Even though, I have had so many books already in our bedroom. Exactly. And on that, one of something I was actually laughing with my sister about the other day. We were talking about when Dad used to take us to the library when we were little, and you had the picture book section, and then yes, that is a stream running into the culvert next to the marsh on Janie's lot. I have some aerial footage that I'm going to show you shortly, which shows that really clearly. And I'll bring that up in half a second. What you're saying about children should never be discouraged. When, obviously we were very, very little. Now, my sister is 3 years older than me. And of course, she was always ahead of her peers anyway. And I distinctly remember the day when she essentially graduated from the picture book section to the chapter book section. And she was in the chapter book section looking for a chapter book to read. And I love Stephen King. Love Stephen King and Dean Koontz, all of them. I have a quite eclectic tastes with books. Kathy Reichs, Sue Grafton, all huge range of likes. But anyway, my sister graduated to the chapter book section in the library, or didn't graduate. She just went there because she wasn't reading picture books anymore. And I was still so little that, I was obviously just looking at the pictures in the books. But I wanted to read a chapter book like my sister. And I actually went and I picked out a chapter book, and Dad let me get it out. Now, I couldn't read. I was so little that I couldn't read. I was still at the point of just looking at the pictures. But Dad let me get that chapter book out. And I remember just doing that whole modelled reading thing. It probably drove everyone mad, because I sat there with this chapter book, making up the story as I was reading through. And, we don't see enough of that anymore. That modelled reading, when kids are just flicking through a book and making it up, that's still important in the whole process of gaining literacy and stuff. Yeah, any reading is good. And it's a process. Kids don't just go from recognizing letters and recognizing words to reading whole books. So if a child wants to sit there and make up a story while they're going through a book, that is still part of the process. It's still a positive thing. Anyway, I'm going to bring up some images when I find them. I think it must be these ones. I had these all loaded up in order. And of course, when I dumped myself out of the studio, I lost everything. Yep. And also, the one that did the Dan Brown. He's brilliant as well. And if you just want a bit of a laugh, I love Janet Ivanovic. Totally different genre, but if you just want a bit of light comedy, she's hilarious. Yeah, children need to be read to. It is so important. Okay, so now the crappy thing is, it seems that Tint has done a dirty delete again. So he put up a video he went out there in May and did drone footage again around the area. Really, really clear drone footage. And I actually went back in last night because I was looking for something specific and discovered that he had pulled it back down. But thankfully, I have all these screenshots that I took when he first put the drone footage up. Richard Bachman, I've not heard of him. I'm going to have to look into that. So I've actually grabbed a handful of them to go through. I originally went in to grab them because I wanted to show you where Belynda was talking about in terms of the clearing. But then I was looking at the photos of the property as well, and I thought, these are really good photos, really clear photos, so I wanted to share them. And there was also a few interesting things that I came across. So, yeah, I don't think I read Watership Down because I think Mum read it, my sister read it, and I was like, I can't handle it. They kind of told me what it was like, and Mum was like, yeah. Oh, yeah, he's the pseudonym that Stephen King used. Now I get it. Yep. Okay, so if you look at this one, you're looking out towards the trailer at Gerlock Road. You can just see the clearing. You can see the marsh. This has got it at so many different angles, and I think it's it gives us a really good perspective. So you can see the track kind of in a line from the trailer, which would be the track that Janie talks about when she talks about heading out to this particular road. So I'm just gonna zooming in a bit. Better view of the marsh. That's probably a clearer view of the marsh. Yeah, when you see it with this really clear aerial view, it really does put it into perspective, doesn't it? But again, you can see the track that goes from the trailer up through to the through to that road up the back. But that's a steep track. It's a rough track. I'd be very surprised to see them headed up that way. And the woods are just so thick and so full of stuff. Again, another shot of the marsh, because I had, now obviously there's more water in this shot, in this aerial footage, because you actually get to see the stream that ran through the back and down to the marsh. But yeah, this one just gives you more of the marsh. Again, you can just see straight down the hill. I do need to do a regular random chat day. I could get so distracted right now. But, oh, careful, don't lose the screen again. That would be that. Sorry. We are getting to some more interesting images in a minute, but that's the schoolhouse and the cabin. The cabin is sort of tucked in those trees. Hard to see, I believe. Yeah, the squirrels are so well and truly loose today. I think it was that jump scare earlier on. Oh dear. The footage, I'm so annoyed that he has pulled this down, because this is really good footage. You can see the property on Gerlock Road. You can see that whole track and how it does clear out. But you can also see over by Lansdowne Station Road, you can see all the water down there. I bet that they were only able to put a trailer on the marsh because of excavating the slope behind Janie's. Yeah, that's a good point, because that is damn close to the marsh. It really is. Really good point. And this just shows you how close to the marsh it really is, because you can see from the land just. But the other thing that stands out here, where the trailer is was once marsh. Wow. Didn't know that. That would have had to have been filled then, wouldn't it? You'd have to come in with heavy fill. to then actually be allowed to put a trailer there. Presumably, that's why there's only a trailer and not an actual permanent residence. Because I would imagine that you wouldn't be allowed to actually physically build there. I may be wrong. Something that stands out for me here, I hadn't realised when you look at it at road level, I hadn't realised how easy it would be to basically hop across that road and go into all that empty land down there across the road, because you can see there's a lot of cleared area. True. It was definitely a last-ditch place to live. Put that back out of the way because I'm covering the... There's a lot of cleared area directly across. So I think that explains why they started searching over that way the following day. Especially after being told, oh, they never crossed the road, you don't need to search over there. Not that I think that's the direction that they need to look, but just, worthy of mention. Scrolling on, we will get to... Now, what's interesting here, I just want to point out that Janie claims that this road was closed off and that only a neighbour could go up there. Look how deep those tracks are. That is a well-used road, in my opinion. Yeah, either they didn't pay for it or they paid like barely nothing. Yeah, we do need to take another look at those maps because I want to have a look at where the water lies on those maps. I will definitely bring them back up in another live stream because I think getting an understanding of the area as well. Okay, so now I'm not sure if this is the same area where Belynda's talking about seeing all the logging and stuff, but this is kind of just up the hill after you come onto the road from Janie's place, and there's definitely a lot of milling and stuff there. Like there's a small, that thing sort of tucked behind the trees must be a small timber mill thing because they've got all the timber like neatly stacked up. But you can start to see the clearing that's happening there. There's a lot of tracks there. There's a lot of stuff coming down. Yeah, the tracks are well travelled, and clearly, all the logging and everything, they're getting in there as well. So, okay, here we go. Yeah, that happened in Australia too. There were a lot of freed convicts were given parcels of land, but they're always the crappy land. That's the tree harvester. They don't cut the trees with chainsaws. So I know, I'm ignorant. Now I'm trying to figure out how that works. Is it like it knocks them down, or is it like a blade on the front of a vehicle? Because I thought that was just like the mill, like the timber mill, the portable timber mill. There are so many fallen trees around there. Oh, right. Massive machines, they grab the tree and cut all the branches off and places them on the truck. You know that after this live stream, I'm going to have to go look for videos of that. I actually never thought about how all the harvesting was happening. But it has claws and a cutting thing. I can visualize it now. Yep. Showing my ignorance. That makes sense. The Swedes are good at inventing things, that's for sure. That makes sense. A lot of dead trees through there. See, they could quite easily down a lot of trees on that property and have firewood forever. Yeah, I feel the same. I do think they're on private land. Although I'm still interested in the beaver pond, and I came across one of these images actually shows us the beaver pond, which I think might be coming up. But again, just a different angle from the property this time. You can see behind, and I've zoomed in behind the trailer. You might remember I mentioned, probably 6 months or so more ago, that there were two little, like, vehicles, like kid vehicles or something, hidden behind the trailer. There's a really good shot of them, and they do look like children's kind of toy vehicle type things. I'll get to them in a minute. Now, when I was going through these last night, and I was originally just looking at the marsh area, and then I looked at the driveway. And I noticed that clearly they had visitors. The black car, I think, is the new car that Daniel got. I don't know if that's the one that he then crashed. Yeah, exactly. They just need a Hilux and a chainsaw. Good old Hiluxes. There's a little black hatchback kind of car in the driveway. Clearly someone visiting. And I found it very interesting, given that, they swear black and blue, that, there's no little black Rio or whatever it was. There's one area that they've cleared, just so you can see. So this was back in May this year. So you can see they've basically just gone straight through and cleared that entire area. But then when you look at some of the trees around, it looks like there were a lot of dead trees. Daniel said Janie owned 2 cars. Yeah, I really need to take a closer look at that lake up behind Jordan's place. That's for sure. Okay, moving on. Just some more of the clear felling. Okay, now this is... You know how Daniel apparently turned at the train tracks around the start of Lansdowne Road? This is the property that's on the opposite side of the old Getty's house. And I actually showed this a few weeks back when I was showing one of Janie's driving tours. Oh, deciduous trees that have not leafed out. Okay, sorry. Or Spot the Australian. I look at trees like that and think, wow, that fire really killed those trees. This property, I find it interesting because you have heavy machinery. You have gravel access on the other side. Welcome in, Dodie. Good to see you here. And also you have, like, it looks like the area where they've got that heavy machinery, they've actually been digging it out. I think I zoom in a little. I hope I probably didn't. Aerial view of that old Getty's house, and there's like an old septic tank or something just smack bang in the middle of the paddock, but they've got like a car hidden behind a tree. Oh wow, yeah, that would be really interesting, Fred, to see the boundaries and who had what. Yes, it would be very interesting to see if there's any old bridges that can only be accessed by four-wheelers. There's when you drive up Lansdowne Road, there's one area where the train line goes over this bridge that's quite elevated. And looking in under that bridge, I have to ask. I have to send photos to Chelsea and ask if any of her family have had a look around that area, because there's a lot of interesting spots, I think, where there's like bridges under the railway tracks that are kind of not easily accessible. It does look well cleared, well kept. It's so this is, I just got to scroll through these. This is just because I know people have been talking about this house a bit. So I wanted to just bring it up. So just a wider view of Gairloch Road. I'm getting to more stuff. Again, you've got that little car in the driveway. And someone said that Ron's wife had a car like that, so it could be that. I'll just scroll through these ones for now. Oh, you know how Janie says you can't get a car up that driveway? Have you seen that driveway? You can't get a car up that driveway. This is March. You can see car tracks. You can see tyre tracks right up to the gate. Right up the driveway, right up to the gate. But according to Janie, you can't get a car up that driveway. Yeah. Yeah, broken bridges certainly, culverts. Just scrolling through because I want to get to the back of the property. Now, I tried to zoom in on the little car, but I couldn't get a good enough zoom to really figure out what it was. Trying to get to the back of the property here, got to the marsh area. Sorry, I threw in a lot of... Okay, so I don't know if that's the same mattress lying on the ground behind the shed as the one that was in the yard when the children went missing. What building did Janie block off with car? Well, she claims that you couldn't get a car all the way up to her RV and that was her yard, it wasn't the driveway. Which is just BS. I mean, there's most of the aerial footage you look at, you can see tyre marks. So yeah, this is behind. Yep, that looks like it seemed to be a bridge across the stream. And remember, this appears to be where Daniel was headed to when they called him back. Yeah, that building that I showed was the old school. I'll try and get back to that in a little while. It actually looks like there could be 2 bridges because there's the solid one that goes up towards the gully, and then there's another one on the left that looks like that would possibly go down towards the marsh. But see, this little creek goes all the way down to the marsh. So yeah, the old schoolhouse community hall, that's what Janie's calling it, that white thing with the circular window. Hang on, let me just see if I can get back to it for a sec. Give me half a moment. And then I'll scroll back to where we were. Okay, it's somewhere. That's the cabin. That's the old schoolhouse. I do have another photo of it, which I'll find and show another time. Yeah, that what I was showing you just there, that was directly behind Daniel's house. So it's directly behind the woodshed. Oh, it could be 2. Yeah, let's scroll back to that. Yeah, I don't know. I actually don't think that little one looked more like a small hatchback. The old schoolhouse or their school? Because this old schoolhouse is, not very far. Their school, I think, was about a 20-minute bus ride or something. Anyway, we'll go back to... Now, you can see there the location of where that little kind of water path is. So it's directly behind the woodshed. And that comes down from the gully. Do we know if the RCMP searched the schoolhouse or up in the gully? Would be a good question. I would imagine that they would have got keys for that old schoolhouse and gone in, because being so close. I hope they did. So yeah, so that is directly behind the woodshed, and this appears to be with the white schoolhouse. We don't know for certain in terms of early in the search. Searchers themselves didn't search it. We know that much because they were only going into buildings that were unlocked. So because it was locked, they didn't search it. But we do know that they did go and get access to like Lauder Park and everything. So given that they did that, I would imagine that they would have had to have gotten access to that little schoolhouse as well. How soon they did that would be the big question, because I think that should have been searched on day one. They should have broken the lock and gone in there. But you can hear quite clearly on dispatch where they're saying that they didn't go in any locked buildings. Belynda believes Janie probably had the keys, but I'm not sure if that's really been confirmed. But the fact that they used to have family gatherings in there certainly would make you think that they had the keys. So it certainly raises a lot of questions. Well, it certainly raises questions for me anyway. That RV looks like the roof is collapsing in the middle. I'd be worried about sleeping in that thing because it looks like it's just eventually the roof's just going to crumble. Yes. And Janie said it had... Exactly. There you go. That was May. Janie said it had no door. Well, that sure as heck looked like a door to me. It does look like it's bending in half. I think Janie needs to evict Daniel and go back and move back into her trailer before that thing just completely falls apart on her. Yes, the schoolhouse definitely had a door. Definitely. Okay, what have we got? There is the beaver pond. Did you ever get near that beaver pond, Chelsea? Or was that because Belynda was saying that only went so far because the creek got kind of deep. That's the beaver pond that Janie and Daniel keep talking about. That is up the hill from their place. It did look completely collapsed in that image. This is also the spot that the RCMP have said that they couldn't get a boat into, and that they didn't really search it because it seemed kind of shallow. I believe this is outside of Janie's boundary. But I'll tell you what, it's a shame that Tint didn't get more footage of this. I'd love to get a drone over this to check it out. It's almost on the pipeline trail, but to me, this is one area that would be a really good spot to get a drone over it and get some really good drone footage of this beaver pond and around the beaver pond. Janie said she was renovating the RV, that's why it had no cupboards. Maybe that's why the roof's falling in, because the cupboards were probably part of the structure, if that's the truth. Okay, moving on a bit. There's a few more bits that I wanted to look at. Just a different angle. Oh, I know. When you look at how far gone that RV is, why would you bother renovating it? And why would you rip cupboards out? Because it's not like it would be overly well insulated, meaning that you'd probably get dust coming in, so you'd want to keep your clothes and things in cupboards to keep the dust out. Could be used as plywood, but then why would they need to when they've got so much dead stuff lying around everywhere? I think, too, when you go back and listen to the audio from, and I think we need to go back through the Facebook audio. They only allow 2 bags each pickup. Zooming in, I think they might be recycling, because they all seem to have white things in them. Oh, you're probably right. The cupboards probably would be worth more than the whole damn RV. Janie actually says, though, in the Facebook audio, at one time she says, oh, there was nothing in my cupboards. And then later on she says she has no cupboards. Yes. I wonder what colour the walls are inside that RV. Yeah. Blue or transparent bags are put out for it. So that would be recycling then. We have wheelie bins. So we don't use bags for our recycling. It just all goes into a wheelie bin, which is collected fortnightly. We have a green waste bin, which is collected weekly. And we just have a general waste bin, which is fortnightly. They contradict their own contradictions. I can't see Sky Painter. Welcome in. Oh, there you are. I did see Sky Painter. Clearly, yeah. Okay. There's a little bit more of interest here. Yeah, that stovepipe coming out of the RV is very curious. Very, very curious. Another view of Janie's yard of everything. Looks like the tarp finally came all the way off that little cubby. There's stuff at the end of the house that I was really curious about, which I'll get to in just a second. Just going through. So again, that gives you a clearer view of the inside of the RV is a smoky yellow. So it's probably it probably wasn't a meth lab then. Probably just maybe someone smoking in there, just tobacco. Who knows? That just gives you more perspective as to where the little bridge is. Yeah, it looks like a living room suite or like a garden. I think it's when Janie did the interview with CBC and she was sitting outside talking to them. I think that's that setting and she's moved it into the yard area. So probably the legs at the bottom of all that are probably starting to rust out, in my opinion. Even at this angle, it looks like that RV is kind of falling apart. Yeah, she needs to get him out of there and take back her own space. Because when you look at it from this height and from this angle, there's no need for her to stay in there now. It's not like we're talking about putting a roof over the heads of kids. We're just talking about Daniel. Well, he is very good with the manipulation. It could also just be that that she just couldn't cope with all the people around. She's a self-confessed hermit. So maybe it just felt too loud and too crowded in the house. Because yeah, it's not something. Quite possibly. Remember, Belynda said that when she went there on the 17th, Daniel said Janie was in the trailer. So it's possible that she's actually in there. It looks like it's bending in the middle. It really does. I'd be getting rid of it. I mean, maybe it's cozy for her, but it just doesn't look overly safe. Now, here's where we're getting into the interesting stuff. Looking down the back end of the trailer. And I'll just keep zooming on a little bit for half a moment. I'll get rid of that off the screen. They're those little buggies that I showed months ago that we couldn't clearly see. It's hard to see much. Solid RVs cost money, they do. It's hard to see much of the one on the back, but the one on this side certainly looks like a kid's little little toy car type, run around thing. They're bags of recycling by the look of it. It could be metal bars making it look bent. It could just be the angle that we're looking at it. That's for certain. Okay, so definitely I think these are just little kids. This is the far end of the trailer towards the marsh. It's kind of tucked away in the bushes. You wouldn't even know it was there. It's beyond the yard, beyond Daniel and Malaya's bedroom. And that certainly to me looks like a kid's buggy. Yeah, I've got a very very Tasmanian looking face, I think. What is in that box? What is the red thing? There's a tarp, but I cannot figure out what the other things are. I'm thinking the red thing could be children's furniture or something. Yeah, look, I do think Janie's got some trauma in her background. Yeah, how ironic is that? She won't have her RV there, her ATV there, because it might get flogged, but she's got these. I mean, this little kid's buggy in the front here. Heck, I would have loved something like that as a kid. I suspect the blue, I think, possibly a tarp. The pink looks like plastic furniture or plastic play stuff. And I'm wondering if these are things for Daniel's kids that maybe Lily and Jack weren't allowed access to. I'd like to know. Too big to be a jerry can, because that's like a big. Hang on, let me see if I can go back a bit so you can just get perspective. Go back so you can see the end of the trailer, and then you come downhill a bit, and you've got those little buggies, and you've got the box thing. Is right, Tucker? Poor old thing. It sucks having arthritis when you're an old dog. Oh, let's go back to that. Yeah, outside the fence, outside the boundary. It's like it's stashed away. It's just in a really. That's what I thought, that it might have been a slide. There is room for 2 ATVs beside those buggies, and you would not see. I mean, face it, we didn't. It took me months to spot these. Good to see you in here, Princess. Yeah, I was kind of thinking something along the lines of that, just that molded plastic kind of play equipment or something. An alligator for the pool? Could be, yeah. Or like a seesaw or something. Maybe that blue is the old pool that Janie was going to put up. Did you see a backpack or two? I don't know. Good question. Yeah, it looks like a skip bin. So, but there's other things in there that look like some sort of framework, or I don't know. A blue chair could be. It's really, really curious. I'm leaning towards it being. Oh yeah, it does look like a skip. I'm kind of leaning towards it being children's, like, outside play equipment kind of stuff, especially given that it's right there with those little buggies. Is it stuff that was kept away from Lily and Jack and kept just for Daniel's kids? Curious question. Now, there's something else that I wanted to show you. Off to the right here. This is just at the end of the trailer, so it's before you get to those buggies. And at first glance, it just looks like boards just lying on the ground. But when I look closer, it actually looks like framework. It actually looks like framework over like a pit or something. Because you can see they go pretty fast. I would have loved something like that as a kid. My older brothers had like a pedal vehicle. Those really old-fashioned pedal vehicles. But of course, by the time I was big enough, it was well and truly destroyed because, older brothers destroy things. That's what they do. I would have loved something like that. They could. I suspect that they're just maybe rubbish bags or something. I think they're too big to. Oh, I don't know, because when you look at them alongside the buckets, yeah, I think they're too big to be backpacks. I think they're probably just maybe just rubbish bags or something. But I'm curious about this thing on the right-hand side, because at the back it just does look like boards piled up. But at the front, you think it's pink dinosaur? I will go back to that. Oh. Could be a pink dinosaur. Yeah, it could be. But when you look at it alongside the trailer, it's too big to be shipping pallets. It does look like it looks like it is covering something. It looks like there is definite framework there. I could be wrong. And it could just be the way I'm looking at it. But yeah, I don't know. That's what I mean, Karen. It looks elevated. That it's not just me. The wood, all the wood timber, it looks like it's elevated, like it's a frame or a deck or something. Yeah, Lizette. I just find it really interesting. Oh, so using shipping pallets to elevate wood off the ground to keep it dry. But they've got other wood piles all over the place. And it's not like it's stacked on there. It looks like it could be an old chicken coop. It could be sitting on pallets. I mean, it could be maybe it's an old well that's just been covered up. The blue thing on the upper left, I couldn't figure it out. It's like there's a blue tarpaulin in the woods. Oh, there's a zoom in, and when you zoom in, so it does look like it's kind of deep underneath there. So maybe it's an old well that's been framed over and just kind of gradually fallen apart. But it's very interesting. I'm trying to find that blue. Oh, yeah, okay, hang on. Let me go back. So there's the end of the trailer. I don't know. Can you see my pointer when I do it? So you've got the end of the trailer, and then you come straight forward, and there's just something there. Yeah, it's probably like an old well that's been covered up or something. A sinkhole, I don't know, something that's been covered up. I mean, you wouldn't go in there by the looks of it. You wouldn't want to walk there in the dark. You'd end up down a hole. Yeah. Pallets would have more boards than we're seeing, and they would be smaller. I'm definitely leaning towards it being like an old well or something that's been covered up, because it looks like it's been framed off. But at the same time, it does look like there is timber that's being stored there at the same time. I don't know. Just trying to find that blue. There's like something blue that's kind of down the hill from the trailer that's in the woods. Oh, okay. So it's not an old well then. It's too big. Interesting. I mean, it could just be old septic. The old septic. It could be. Yeah. I don't know. I couldn't figure it out, but it did look like it was covering something. Just go back a smidgen. If it was a bridge to walk across, I'd be too scared to walk across that. I think, yeah, most septics are dug in and just have a small cap. I need to take another look at the LiDAR and see if anything shows on the LiDAR. But it seems to be pretty much ground bevel, so it's like it's covering some sort of pit or something. Maybe the kids were playing with boards. Well, you've got that other thing up in the woods that looked like the beginning of a cabin or something. So, you know, it could have been just another structure that's basically had the biscuit. Yeah, there's nothing modern on that property. Yeah, so scroll on a bit, see what I've got. Just showing the car again. No, the kids wouldn't have built those things. It would have been too hard for them. I think Janie was upset. I'll just scroll on to the next bit. Yeah, you would hope that they were warned to stay away. That's probably why it was all fenced off. I would imagine they were not allowed to go anywhere near that end of the house. Yeah, there's one kitty cat, and then this is classic. Janie would have been so upset. And oh, what are you? Oh, that must be the next one. Oh, well, you can. No, there it is. Janie standing at the fence, looking up at the drone. Tint got spotted. Maybe that's why he pulled it down. I had to put that up there because I just thought it was so funny. And, it's not really showing Janie fully, so it's not like I'm putting up a photo of her or anything that she might not like. He got made. He got so totally made. I don't think you'd have to bribe Tucker. Tucker seems like a pretty sweet-natured dog. He would probably greet you. Yeah, I like that little fence around her step. That's a nice little decking. That decking's probably going to last longer than the RV. Is that Tucker laying there? I can't tell. Where are you looking? I actually can't see Tucker at all. Yeah, there was the cat in the driveway. And note she's got the full pipe back on. So when the kids went missing, you had that whole pipe coming up. And then while the search was on, the up bit of the pipe was removed and it just kind of came straight out the window, and now it's been put back. Yeah, the steps look like pallets. Behind the RV, I don't think I've actually got any images. There's like, if you're going up the hill, you've got that creek thing and the bridge, but directly behind the RV, I don't seem to have any images. And like I said, I went back in last night. I went to yeah, I think it's the same furniture that she had out when she did the interview. I think. Yeah, I went back last night to try and get more images of a few things that I was interested in, and like I said, he's pulled it down. Yeah, it looks like there's timber or something on the side of the embankment there, quite possibly. Yeah, possibly a potbelly stove. That would actually make it quite... Oh, it isn't straight, is it? It actually looks like it might be starting to fall apart already. Whoops. Oh, I am too. I'm surprised I didn't notice that. Anyway, it's headed up for 3 hours, and I know Taka was kind of up and about a little while ago, so she's probably wanting me to take her out. So I'm going to wrap it up here. Thanks for coming in, guys. I've kind of enjoyed this, just, I Spy thing at the end. if you haven't hit the like button, please do so on the way out. Also, if you're new, please subscribe. Good to see you in here, Women's Warrior. Yeah, the upright went and now it's back. It's bizarre. And yeah, if you are on replay, please do leave a comment. Yeah. Anyway, I'm going to leave it at that. Thanks for coming in, guys. Sorry about the jump scare in the middle. I'll edit that bit out for other people so they don't have to be traumatized. I'll catch you in the next one.